Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I will be speaking about Saturn and a very important step that Saturn will make. On 17th or 18th of April, Saturn will become visible for the first time. This is very important. Saturn will appear in very important degrees. Now, just briefly to summarize what this video will be about. I will be speaking about the meaning of the degree where Saturn is appearing. Then we see how this will influence the world and how this will influence the 12 ascendants, because this seems to be the most important. Now, of course, let's speak about the placement of Saturn according to the sidereal astrology. For you who are new to my channel, we apply only sidereal astrology, which is astronomical and is depicting the real placements, the astronomical places of the planets and the stars on the sky. So basically, literally what you see on the sky, this we see in the zodiac, which we are discussing. So as we speak, from end of January of last year, 2023, until late December of 2025, Saturn will be in sidereal Aquarius. I will remind to you that while he was in Capricorn, the previous 3 years, these major changes happened to the world and to each one of us. So Saturn is now in Aquarius and invisible, and approximately around 17th, 18th of April he becomes visible. Let's just also mention that he is in a very close proximity with Mars, so they are both in Aquarius. So Mars and Saturn are in Aquarius, and they are very, very close to each other. They are almost sharing the same degree, and this is called planetary war in some astrological traditions. And this will be valid until 22nd, 23rd of April. I will tell you, most probably this strong energy will be valid until end of April. So be a little bit more careful when you drive, when you make important decisions. Anyway, I'll be more specific about the 12 ascendants, how this conjunction will influence you, and how the first appearance of Saturn will influence you. Now, first of all, I told you they're in a close proximity. They are very near with each other. Now, Mars is invisible. And here, both now, as we speak, are invisible. And the first that will be visible will be Saturn. Mars will be visible later, around, I think, 7th of May. Mars becomes visible, but already in Pisces. But this about this we speak later. So now in this very moment, it is 11th of April, both planets are invisible, and Saturn becomes visible first. They are in a planetary war, which means that for the world, they're increasing the danger for conflicts, for disputes, but don't be so afraid. I don't like how this is overly emphasized and exaggerated in many astrological channels. When I see it, I don't even watch. I find this annoying, because this is creating fears, and this is not such a rare conjunction. Really, this is not such a rare conjunction. It would happen approximately every 1.5 years. This is not very rare conjunction. Of course, now we discuss this conjunction a little bit, maybe more, because both planets are invisible, which would say that they participate in discussions behind the scenes, discussions about the destiny of the people on Earth. And secondly, this conjunction is taking place around this solar eclipse, which was very strong, also overly exaggerated, very annoying to create fears. We're supposed to you see to be very balanced and to use these energies of eclipses or conjunctions or planetary wars. Having the knowledge, we should, based on the knowledge, plan our lives, but not to be afraid, because this is certainly not the right thing to do. So anyway, the two planets are invisible, and Saturn becomes visible. Now, this is a planetary war, so it is traditionally called. When there will be this planetary war, who is winning? What will happen? So yes, they may create conflicts, the two. This may accelerate the war situations in the world. But who is more powerful? Who is ruling Aquarius in this planetary war? First of all, according again to some old traditions, the planet in the smaller degree is more powerful, which is Saturn. And secondly, of course, Saturn is in his own kingdom, which is Aquarius, so he is supposed to be more powerful. Also, let me tell you something. According to the planetary order, according to the placement of Saturn, who is the seventh in the planetary order, in the celestial spheres, Saturn has higher hierarchy. Who is more powerful then? I believe this is Saturn. I believe when there is this planetary war between the two, Saturn would have the final word. Also, why? Because he becomes visible for the first time before Mars. So Saturn becomes visible before Mars on 17th or 18th of April. So, and he will be a morning star. He becomes visible as a morning star. Brilliant. Now, what is he going to do? What is Saturn? Saturn is the seventh planet. From the 7 planets, the other 3, which are after Saturn, are the trans-Saturnian planets, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. But from the 7 planets, Saturn seems to be the last one, the decisive voice, if you want. He's the judge. He's the lord of karma. He is the wise man. He is the planet which is, this is God Ninurta. I will remind you, he opened the gates and allowed the big flood to destroy humanity. He's very mighty. Later, in the later traditions, this is Saturn. This is Kronos of the Greeks. Kronos, the Lord of Time. Later, this is Saturn of the Romans, who is also behind, the most important decisions. He's the judge in heaven. So he is deciding. He becomes visible for the first time, and actually he doesn't have any affliction. It's like he's not in other conflicts with other planets. He has only this planetary war with Mars, which is not only, you will say, it's not only, but he's actually forming sextile in this very moment of his appearance with the exalted Sun, with Jupiter, with Uranus. So Saturn actually participates in not malefic, it's in interesting, good, powerful combination. And this is exact. So Saturn and Mars form sextile to Jupiter and Uranus. This is mighty sextile, even though sextile is not the most powerful aspect in astrology, but this is aspect between very powerful planets. In the moment of the appearance of Saturn, the moon will be very powerful, will be waxing. Very important is this. And the moon will be in her very important degrees, powerful, mighty in Cancer. So all this shows quite, mighty situation for Saturn to appear and to bring what he's most capable of doing, regulations, rules. So Saturn is the one who is disciplining us. He's the one who is creating the order. He's the one who is, who is mainly related to time and discipline, and he's the one who is having the final voice because he's the judge. So he would bring the new rules, new tendencies in the economy, in the new in general, because he's in Aquarius and we are at the gates of the era of Aquarius. So somehow this appearance of Saturn might bring justice in a very good way, and the truth, and the exactly new regulations of the world ruling classes, let's say, of the world, of anything, even economy. Why about economy? Because he is creating aspect also with Jupiter and Uranus, and this is very much about money. In the meantime, Venus and Mercury will be both invisible but conjoined in Pisces. So, of course, Saturn himself is not the new. He is always about the tradition. You will not see modern judge or modern monk, right? It's all about tradition. He's very, very conservative because he's very ancient. Saturn is about the ancient. Saturn himself will not bring the new. Uranus may bring the new, Mars may bring the new, but Mars is weak in Aquarius. He may play this not very harmonious role. He may destroy the balance because Saturn is about balance since he's exalted in Libra. So he's a lot about balance. I expect that Mars will create disturbances because he's also in Aquarius conjoined with Saturn. But Saturn is about balance, yes, disturbed in the beginning, but he is coming with his new energy and strength and desires to live. He's like newborn. I will remind to you what I also previously mentioned, that planet with first heliacal appearance, we can resemble the energy of this planet with the new birth. The planet is just born. So this is very, very important. Saturn is coming with his new energy, new power. Yes, he's very traditional and he likes to impose a tradition. I like to think that this these powers of the new liberalism or liberal tendencies, which are very annoying, may not really be very pleased with the appearance of Saturn, who may bring some traditions, some traditional rules, something that we miss. Do you see how melancholic are we towards the old? How much we like the old traditions of the old families, of the old, if you want, the family roots, the ancestral roots. This somehow we miss now because the world became too modern. But with the disappearance of Saturn, and this somehow is not very much in conflict with the new, because he sextiles Uranus. And yes, he's more powerful than Mars. I don't say that this will be completely harmonious and there will not be dispute or warlike situation, because still Mars is there and he's invisible. And when Mars is invisible, he's very unpredictable. Like before his appearance in Pisces, he is probably cooking very disharmonious plans and strategies, because I will also tell you, when Mars is invisible, he is not so much about this classical soldier-like energy and behavior. The classical soldier, Mars, Aries, is the visible Mars well placed. Let's say you can imagine people who have Mars in Aries, let's say on ascendant or in some good placement or aspect in the ascendant. Such people will be true soldiers. They will be very athletic maybe, and they will be what you describe as a true athletic soldier, but with very decent, dignified behavior. When Mars is invisible like he is now, and like he will be until the first week of May, he is not very visible in terms of behavior. He's secretive. He is really, more strategic, very strategic. He's hiding. He would not voice his thoughts, concerns, plans, none of this. He will be planning the strategy. So this is what Mars is doing now. And around 7th of May, when he appears heliacally, it may differ from the different parts of the world, but let's say until mid-May, we will hear what he was planning, what he was cooking for us. Saying this sounds like we're voiceless individuals and we cannot do anything. No, we can. This is why to know astrology, to know what is happening on the sky, is good. It is important because according to this knowledge, you can plan everything. You can plan your life. You can plan everything. Knowledge is power. So, saying this, to go back to Saturn, yes, let's not forget, we have Saturn-Mars conjunction, absolutely. And this is conjunction which can destroy the balance. But Saturn appears in these very beautiful degrees, which in the ancient astrology are only 7. And we're talking about the sacred degrees of the river. Eridanus, this is the water which the waterman is pouring. What is river? River is abundance, something a lot. You cannot stop it. This is river. How can you stop the river? River is about knowledge, spirituality, memory from before. Only the river, water remembers, the crystals remember, the water remembers. Remember the past. So Saturn appears in the river which the waterman is pouring. These are sacred degrees in astrology. New wave of consciousness, new wave of old tradition, knowledge, memories. This will be powerful. Everything in the universe is happening for a reason. If Saturn decided to appear heliacally in this particular degree, this is for a reason. It's not just happening just like that. So yes, Saturn appears in these very, very, very beautiful degrees, highly spiritual, highly, spiritual, but also benevolent. So let's see what Saturn will give. Something from the past, but also related to order, to law, because he is the judge. And I don't see this as bad thing, because there is nothing wrong in the order, in the balance, in some regulations, not when they are created to limit people's freedom and spiritual growth. But Saturn may have very good role now also because he's creating sextile with Jupiter, Uranus, and with the Sun. So this is very important. Now, how this will influence us, the people, the 12 ascendants. Let's start as usual. According to the sidereal astrology, we start with sidereal Aries or moon in Aries. In case that you prefer to follow the modern tropical astrology, of course, this will be Taurus. If you don't know your time of birth, but you know where your moon is placed, also we can derive your horoscope from the moon, and then you can use your moon sign. So then this will be moon in Aries. So for people who have sidereal ascendant Aries, now for you, at the moment of the, excuse me, first heliacal appearance of Saturn, the Sun, Uranus, and Jupiter are on your ascendant. This is very powerful. And in a way, benevolent, because Jupiter on your ascendant is always benevolent. Exalted Sun on your ascendant can give you good strength, good energy, new, like for new plans, this impulse of the spring, for new life, joy. This is what the Sun on the ascendant is. And Saturn and Mars are on your 11th house. When Saturn appears for the first time around 17th, 18th of April, this energy may influence your work, your finances, your social circle. So he may bring new, let's say, regulations, new order, new rules, even new connections. In the meantime, of course, already now you may need to be a little bit more attentive with children, more diplomatic with friends. When you discuss finances, you may need to be a little bit more strategic, diplomatic, and not impulsive. Wait and see what this energy will bring you. The 11th house in astrology is the house of good spirit, so it will not be malefic, but because we still know that there is a planetary war in the 11th house, you may need to be very careful and strategic, especially when it comes to, to people, to communication, to your social role. So this is basically about people who have sidereal ascendant Aries. If you have sidereal ascendant Taurus or moon in Taurus, or according to the modern astrology, this will be Gemini, then this conjunction of Mars and Saturn, and the first appearance of Saturn is happening in Aquarius. This is on your 10th house, very important, can bring the new, or can bring stability, new regulations, new energies in your work, in your career place. In the beginning, be a little bit cautious, be diplomatic, be careful, because really new regulations may take place in your horoscope. So this is very important. Now, of course, this is creating not very harmonious aspect to your ascendant, so you may need to be really more careful also in your romantic life. By the way, if this is for the 12th ascendants, if you want to know particularly how this will influence your ascendant, you may visit my website and have a reading with me, and I will place the link under this video. But in any case, this will be quite, quite new, quite interesting. It is not rare. We experience the appearances of Saturn every year, but this particular appearance is happening around very important date, and also in a very benevolent degree. So it is quite interesting. So now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Gemini or moon in Gemini, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this will be Cancer. For you, this would be your 9th house. This may bring something new related to media work, to studies. This may bring some new structures in your knowledge, in your education. It also can bring information to you, also new plans, new related to media or to traveling or to knowledge, education, studies. Could be very possible. Could influence your career too. In any case, again, also for you around this appearance of Saturn, especially until end of, it will be till end of April, be a little bit careful how you travel, how you negotiate. Also, make sure that your media work is very well planned and organized. Now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Cancer or moon in Cancer, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this will be Leo. Now for you, this conjunction is happening on your 8th house. This may affect finances related to partnerships or finances which you expect from unexpected sources, like court cases, insurances, disputes, inheritances, all this. And Saturn can suddenly come and say, here is my verdict I give. I want to regulate this. This may have impact also on the finances of your partner. In any case, make sure that you're very strategic, very careful when you make decisions around this period in particular related to finances. This may have impact on your career as well. Now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Leo or moon in Leo, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this will be Virgo. For you, the planetary war and the first appearance of Saturn is on your 7th house. Could mean new partnership, new business ideas, plans, regulations. This may affect your romantic life. Saturn may test your relationship, your romantic life. Be a little bit careful. Let your partner be a little bit careful when traveling, when making whatever decisions. Let him or her not get involved in risky situations until late April for sure. Also, make sure that you're more careful and diplomatic in your career place. But Saturn can bring also, some new knowledge, studies from abroad or related to your media work, let's say, or media appearances. Now we're looking at people who have sidereal ascendant Virgo or moon in Virgo, or if you're following the modern astrology, this is Libra. For you, this particular conjunction is taking place in your 6th house. Certainly, Saturn can regulate your administration, routine work, bring some new knowledge related to health, but he also can challenge a little bit your health. So you may need to be responsible for your health. Stay away for conflicts because this is a little bit of heavy energy until end of April for sure. But in any case, he may bring some structure. So you may, or you can bring new information, truth related to your routine, to communication with people that share your routine environment. Let's say this could be people that you rule, that work for you, or simply your colleagues in your routine environment. So yes, and be responsible for your health. Now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Libra or moon in Libra, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this is Scorpio. For you, this particular conjunction takes place in your 5th house. This is fine, and Saturn loves your ascendant. So this is good, and also, he is in this house of the good fortune. New plans, new strategies for studies, for creative knowledge he may bring to you, really awakening, knowledge, courage, good changes. Be a little bit attentive with children, but for the rest, I think Saturn can bring many good new plans, new ideas, like you can open up to new pleasure or creative work. He can have very benevolent role for you. You may opt for new study, new education. So this is quite interesting. Let's say you can revisit work that required your talent and that you abandoned for a while, and so. Now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Scorpio or moon in Scorpio, and if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this will be Sagittarius. For you, watch out a little bit. Make sure that this appearance of Saturn is not challenging the harmony in your house, your relationship. Also, be more attentive with parents. This is not. See, he may bring to you new information about properties, about real estate, about housing. He may bring changes or clarity. He may discipline, some deal, like bring the solution related to property, to your house, or you may suddenly take different course in relation to your property, your housing, your relocation. This is very possible. In the meantime, make sure that you're responsible for your health, diplomatic at work, and harmonious with your partner or business partner. Now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Sagittarius or moon in Sagittarius, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this is Capricorn. For you, this conjunction and planetary war is taking place in your third house. And this is related to travel, communication with brothers and sisters. It is related to knowledge, studies, your spiritual awakening. So there Saturn may bring the new plans, new commercial ideas, new strategy, new negotiation plans and strategies. Of course, be a little bit careful with traveling around this time and until end of April. And of course, he may bring finally some ending of disputes with brothers and sisters. He may really bring the truth and some new, some like he can bring the order, let's say. So that's why be patient, be harmonious with brothers and sisters, with neighbors, and around this timing, make sure that you're careful when traveling, because we don't know how Saturn is placed in your chart. Now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Capricorn or moon in Capricorn. If you're following modern astrology, this is Aquarius, and for you, your ascendant ruler Saturn becomes visible for the first time in conjunction with Mars in your second house. He may bring finally, let's say, regulations, balance in your finances. He may bring some truth related to family roots, family matters, and bring peace and regulate things, especially financially, make sure that you're patient around this time and you see until end of April what Saturn will really bring to you. But it can be really financial. And make sure that you're not making very impulsive decisions related to finances, because Saturn will bring some new maybe information, maybe plans, something new related to the arrangement of your finances. Let also your partner be a little bit more responsible for his or her health. Now we're looking at people who have sidereal ascendant Aquarius or moon in Aquarius, or with the modern tropical astrology, this is Pisces. This conjunction is happening right on your ascendant. Mighty, powerful. You may feel this. Like you may have plans for the new. You may feel that the new is coming. This is good. Saturn is your ascendant ruler, the old ascendant ruler, and he may really be very positive. Like he may bring the long-awaited change in your life. He may bring the new plans, new structure in your life. He may be quite benevolent. Prepare with this, already applying a little bit of time orientation and discipline. He may be benevolent for your planning, finances, communication. Of course, be more responsible for your health, because we are not sure how Saturn is placed in your horoscope. Also, be more, patient, careful with your partner and also with business partners. And now we're looking at people who have sidereal ascendant Pisces or moon in Pisces, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this would be Aries. For you, invisible Venus, Mercury are on your ascendant. This is okay. Venus invisible in her energy form as Ereshkigal or Persephone can also be very powerful and protective. In the meantime, this conjunction of Saturn and Mars is taking place on your 12th house related to, enemies. But Saturn will come, and with his powers, the judge will bring the truth. He will bring the regulation and can finalize disputes, issues, and can help you win over enemies, invisible enemies. Of course, he can bring solutions related to health, but in the meantime, you may need to be responsible for your health. He may also support your spiritual work. He may bring very important information, knowledge, hidden secrets, esoteric. So in this sense, he can be very benevolent. So ladies and gentlemen, this was about the first appearance of Saturn in Aquarius, in the mighty degrees of the water Eridanus. I hope that this will be all good for the world and for us. And remember, we are not speechless, useless human beings. We just take what is happening. We certainly have our role, roles, in this universe. We are mighty. And with our thoughts, we create reality. And we certainly do. We shape reality with our thoughts and with our words. This is why we are very responsible for every word we say. So when we create fears and we, make people afraid, this is very big responsibility, and it's not good to do, because when we are worried, when we're afraid, we certainly cannot change our reality in the desired direction. So I hope this was useful. All the best to you. Bye bye.